Hello my dear friends, this is Rajesh Mahapatra. I hope all of you are doing well and happiness. In this session, I'll be telling you about the concept of how do you install all the required software at the time of VM creation using Terraform code. Apart from this, I'll show you in the lab how do you write your Terraform code and how do you execute all the Terraform command so that you can easily understand it. Let's get started. As you can see here, these are the steps that you can follow to create a new Linux server using the Terraform code. In this session, I will create three new Terraform files as variable.tf, provider.tf and main.tf. Providers allows Terraform to interact with the cloud providers like Google Cloud Platform and more. Terraform can provision infrastructure across the public cloud providers. In variable.tf, you can input variables that allows you to parameterize your Terraform configuration. Variables are placeholder for values that can be passed to your Terraform modules and configuration when you apply them. They make your configuration more flexible and reusable. By defining variables in a specific file, you can easily manage and update the values without touching the main configuration. This separation of concern make your code more maintainable and enable the different environments like development, staging, production and more to use the different variable values. Now I hope so guys you can understand why I define the provider.tf file and variable.tf file using Terraform. Now as you can see here, the main.tf file is the main configuration file where you define the actual infrastructure components and their relationship. This is where you create resources, specify configuration and define the dependencies between the different resources. The main configuration file typically includes more declaration, resource blocks, data blocks and other configuration elements. It also references the variables and provider defined in the corresponding file. I'll show you in the lab in more details so that you can easily understand it. And as you can see here, the same code I'll use inside the lab. Similarly, as you can see here, this is the main.tf file and same code I'll use to create a customized new Nginx server. As you can see here, this is the Nginx web server I'll create using same Terraform code. Based on your project requirement, guys, you can customize your code in the metadata startup script section as you can see here, and I selected as default VPC and default subnet in this lab. As you can see here, this is the Terraform commands. I'll use all the Terraform commands as I mentioned here, like Terraform init, Terraform plan, Terraform apply and Terraform destroy. Guys, if you missed the first Terraform lecture session, I explain more details about Terraform init, Terraform plan, Terraform apply and Terraform destroy command. You watch this session and you can understand why exactly the real time required for all the commands to create a new infrastructure in multiple cloud provider. Let's switch to the GCP console portal. I'll show you in the lab how do you create a custom Nginx web server using Terraform code so that you can easily understand it, and you can same thing you can try to implement your project requirement, and you can try also in the lab session. Let's switch to the GCP console portal page. As you can see here, first of all go to the GCP console portal and log in with your Google account credential. I already logged in my GCP account. As you can see here, this is the GCP console portal page. Then click on active cloud shell button here, as you can see here, and wait a couple of seconds to start the temporary VM. As you can see here, this is the cloud shell command line interface. Then click on open new window and wait a couple of seconds to complete the initialization process. As you can see here, this is the new cloud shell command line interface. Then back to the console portal, then close the cloud shell here. Then navigate to the cloud shell command line interface here. Then press Ctrl L. Now I'll create a new Terraform file like variable.tf, provider.tf and main.tf. Before I'll create a new Terraform file, I'll create a new directory here. Then navigate to the new directory. As you can see here, this is my present directory. Then now first of all I'll create first file called as provider.tf. Then press I here. As you can see here, this is the Terraform code. Then Ctrl Shift V here. As you can see here, this is the provider name like Google, and just I pass the parameter like var.project_id and var.region here. Then escape :wq for save the file. Then read the file using the cat command. As you can see here. Then similarly you can create the second TF file like variable.tf file here. Then press enter. Then press I here. Then copy the variable.tf file here. Ctrl Shift V. Now as you can see here, this is the variable.tf file. Then save the file, press escape :wq, save. Then read the variable.tf file using cat command. Now I'll guide you. First I add the variable as project ID, and as you can see here, this is the short name. You can any name whatever you want, just you have to add here variable, and this is the name of the variable like project. And as you can see here, this is the default value I pass here as the default key, and this is the value here, and this is a string. Similarly, the region I select the region as US Central 1A, zone as US Central 1C, or if you want to change the region like B, then I'll show you. Same bi variable.tf here. Then press I. If you want to change in which zones and regions based on your requirement, then US Central 1B here. Then press escape WQ, save here. As you can see here, then press Ctrl L. Then read the file. This is the project ID. This is the zone name. Then this is the name of the instance. As I mentioned here, Terraform server 104 here, and the machine type is E2 medium. The network ID as default, subnet I select as default here. Then image name is the Debian, I selected here Debian 10 here. Then the firewall rule, the new custom firewall rule, the port allow for the Terraform new server. This is the allow Nginx port here. Now guys, I hope so you can understand it. How do you define your variable.tf file based on your project requirement? In Ctrl L. Now I'll create the main.tf file here, then press enter, then press I, copy the main file from here, Ctrl Shift V, then verify here all the codes are correct here now, then press escape, :wq, then read the main.tf file. As you can see here, first I'll create a custom firewall rule to allow the HTTP, SSS and all the remaining port, as you can see here, and then this is the code for create a new custom firewall rule, and same code you can use to perform your lab, guys. And based on your project requirement, you can change here all the port, as you can see here. Then then second is Google Compute Instance, the VM name. I defined all the variable.instance name. Already I defined all the value inside the variable.tf file, so that I can pass the parameter here only. This is the same code you can use your day-to-day activities project also, guys. Then as you can see here, this is the automation script. As you can see here in the metadata startup script section, I'll install the Nginx web server at the time of VM creation. As you can see here, all the commands and all the shell script code are here. As you can see here, this is the apt-get update y and apt-get installs nginx y, and then change the group name. Then I provide the permission to the index.html file and so more, as you can see here. Then in the bootdig section, as you can see here, I pass the image name here and instance name here. Same code you can use to create a Linux server using the Terraform code. And as you can see here, this is the default network I pass from the network interface section here. Then press Ctrl L. Firstly, I'll run the Terraform init command to initialize a Terraform working directory, and it prepares the directory to interact with the selected cloud provider by downloading the necessary provider plugins and dependency and setting up the backend configuration. As you can see here, this is the Terraform init command. Then press enter, and as you can see here, the initializing the backend and all the dependency and plugins are downloaded successfully. Terraform has successfully initialized. Now, secondly, I'll run the Terraform plan command to generate an execution plan based on the current state of the infrastructure and the desired state specified in the Terraform configuration file. Then press enter. As you can see here, all your configuration detail, the Compute Engine firewall rule, Google Compute instance, new creation, and at the time of VM creation, the Nginx server installation script, as you can see here. And finally, I'll run the Terraform apply command to apply the changes defined in the Terraform configuration file to the infrastructure. It reads the configuration and compare it to the current state and creates, modify or delete the resources as necessary. Then press enter. Then write yes. Then press enter and wait a couple of seconds. As you can see here, the Google Compute firewall rule is creating, and as well as the Google Compute instance also creating. As you can see here, wait a couple of seconds more, and as you can see here, guys, the two resources successfully created. One is the custom firewall rule and second is your new Linux server. Then navigate to the GCP console portal, then navigate to that compute engine section here. As you can see here, the Terraform server 104 is successfully created here. And similarly, now I'll verify the new custom Feral rule here. Then click on Feral here. And as you can see here, this is the allow nginx port. Allow nginx port, this is the name of the custom Feral rule, is successfully created. All the ports SSS 20, 80, 443, 3389 all are allowed here based on our requirement. Now you navigate to that compute engine portal page, then click on here. Now select your new Linux server as Terraform server 104, then copy the external IP here. As you can see here, this is the external IP section here. Copy here, then open a new Chrome browser, then write http:// then paste your external IP, then press. As you can see here guys, this is the new the nginx server, or this is the default web page for the nginx server is successful installed inside the Linux server. And at the time of VM creation, automatically all of the desired software is based on the requirement, all the script can be successfully executed here. And this is the default nginx web server page here. Now I hope so you can understand how do you create a new Linux server using Terraform code. And at the time of VM creation, whatever your requirement, like you can install the nginx server, Apache web server, or you can install like the Git, Jenkins, and whatever you want. Based on your requirement, you can customize it, and you can write a script in such a way in the metadata section, so that after successful create for your Linux server, and all the software also successfully install inside that. Now guys, I hope so you can understand it, and similar ways you can try to practice it. Thank you.